Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Don Reichert Gymnasium here at Southside High School. I'm Thad Goff. Cordell Humbarger is my cameraman tonight as we've got Southside playing host to Concordia. We've had the girls' game just a moment ago. It was Concordia who won that, and we've got the boys' game coming up here on SummitCitySports.com. Well, this Concordia team comes into the game at 6-4 overall. However, they're trying to stave off a little 2-game losing streak. Lost at home to Bishop Luers, and then lost on the road the following night to Blackhawk Christian. That was last weekend when Concordia had their last games. This is their first game since there, and they're trying to get back on track after that losing skid. For Southside, they are 2-9 overall. They did, however, win their last game. In fact, they've won 2 out of their last 3. A road win against Marion. They won that one 86-81. And on December 28th, a little tournament over, I believe that was at Trine University. Actually, I beg your pardon, that was on December 28th. That was not at Trine. That Trine tournament was over on December 30th. This was at Northeastern High School when Southside knocked off Blackford. That was their first win of the season. Now, in between that was a loss to Homestead. However, the Archers took Homestead down to the wire. That was a 44-41 final. But Southside did end up on the losing end of that one over at Homestead High School, and they're a very impressive new gymnasium. Now, this gymnasium, this court here at Reichert Gymnasium, it's had this design to it for about the last 2 years, including this year, and it's quite impressive in itself. You're seeing a lot of high school basketball courts getting resurfaced, repainted. In this case, there was some repainting that went on. I believe there was a little bit of that at Concordia as well. Both courts here at Southside and over there at the Cage, very impressive. Now on the court, there are a couple of issues for both teams, namely player injuries. Concordia is without Cole Hayworth tonight. He's a guy who averages double figures, had 12 points in the game against Blackhawk Christian. Now Avery Cook, he's out there warming up, and Phil Brockman does hope to be able to use him tonight off the bench. He's not listed as a starter, but he is a little banged up. That's the most information as Brockman gave me. Not go into specifics as to what the injury was. For Southside, Zachariah Belcher is out for tonight. My guess is it's either a broken foot or something else. He was wearing a boot and hobbling around on crutches. So Belcher will not be good to go tonight. And J.J. Foster, the Archers head coach, did tell me that he's hoping to have Belcher back in a week. That is not definitive. That is just hopeful. We will hope along with him as well. I hate to see players out for long-standing injuries. It's a player at Northside, Jordan Green, who tore his ACL earlier this year, and he's out for the season. Jordan Green's a heck of a ball player. Jordan, we wish you as speedy of a recovery as possible, though it will likely not mean that he gets to take the court at any point this season. We got about 5 minutes to go before we get this game underway. When we come back, we'll get a few words in from our sponsors that allow us to do these games that we get to do so often here on SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
We are back here at Don Reichert Gymnasium. Concordia set to take on Southside in just a few minutes. While we have a moment, we'll get in a few words from our sponsors. Big Eyed Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook page for updated promotions, and enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eyed Fish. Kelly Automotive Group is celebrating their 70th year in business. Shop all 14 of their dealerships and contact Kelly Automotive Group at brands@drivekelly.com. Tom Steele Tire has been serving the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other auto repair services such as brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more. At Ottenweller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process, from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area. From ages 5 to 18, our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together we can reach the summit. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business. A system and solution that fits your unique needs. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. Are you ready to do what it takes to put your past behind you, whether it's expunging your criminal record or helping you to get your driver's license reinstated? If so, Jolly Law Firm is your answer. Sioka Cleaning and Restoration, providing top-notch commercial cleaning services, including janitorial, state-of-the-art disinfecting services, and water damage throughout Northeast Indiana. Online degree programs at the University of St. Francis are built for convenience and flexibility. Most degrees can be completed in 12 months. For more information, visit online.sf.edu. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it's game on. We serve every level of athlete with our integrated sports medicine team, including the region's only specialized athletic rehab facility. Learn more about our services by logging on to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. And today's broadcast is brought to you by SummitCitySports.com. Follow us on Twitter at 260Sports, 260 Sports that is. Like our Facebook page, Summit City Sports, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, here in the 260 area, we're about to have a game that would likely feature some top-notch athletes. Now, I mentioned some of those athletes who are out tonight. One particular double-digit scorer for Concordia, Cole Hayworth, is not available, and one for Southside, Zachariah Belcher, is not available. But who is available is Zamari Phillips and Omarion Washington. Those guys are both averaging 13-plus points per game this season. And for Concordia, Johnny Washington is available. He's averaging 13.8 points per game. And David Speckard is averaging 10.3 points per game. He is available for tonight. Southside trying to get their second straight win. Concordia has lost 2 straight. They're trying to snap that streak. As this game gets underway in about 2 minutes, we'll have the announcement of the starting lineup in just a matter of moments. For now, we'll take a quick break and come back in just a moment on SummitCitySports.com.
I came into PSM my freshman year after volleyball. Just coming here just really improved like mentally and physically. I brought in my strengths. I came in and I learned how to grow as an athlete. I mean, I've gotten stronger, sprint faster, get up higher. My jump has elevated. Working with Tyler, he built up my endurance for everything, whether it's in weights, sprints. All across the board, we just keep working, and I have athlete development at Warsaw High School that I go to, and so I send him my thing every day, and he changes what we do in here to adapt to what we do there. High school volleyball, when you can go up to 5 sets, being able to outwork everybody and still being able to put in that 100% was huge for me. PSM performance definitely helped me mentally. I know I can beat out people. I know I can work for what I have, and I know I can even go to the next level on the court. Looking at college, I can put on it. I'm training at a college level. I mean, I come in here and I watch college athletes train. You have hockey players, soccer. You look around and you see every type you can. Just being able to see that level, and I know that I can reach that level as well. You got to work to be the best, and that was just what I wanted to do. I knew that from a young age. I wanted to put in the work.
The athletes has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, SummitCitySports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, I mean, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, I mean, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
Getting ready for the start of Concordia versus Southside. Going to have the announcement of the starting lineups here in just a moment. Concordia's lineup will be announced first. That'll be followed by the announcement of the lineup for Southside. Concordia won the girls' game just about a half an hour ago, and we'll wait and see who gets the boys' game. Concordia 6-4 on the season, Southside 2-9.
At this time, let's meet our starting lineups for tonight's game. First to our visitors from Concordia. Starting at guard, wearing number 12, Johnny Washington. At guard, number 15, David Strickard. Playing guard, wearing number 24, Joe Tapp. At guard, number 21, Alan Termola. And at forward, wearing number 32, Grant Hayward. The cadets are coach, Raphael Blackburn. And now, our two fans, let's meet our starting lineup for the home team, Southside Archers. Senior guard, wearing number 2, Jaden Morris. Playing guard at 62 inches, a senior, wearing number 3, Charles Powell. Wearing number 10, a 6'1" senior, playing guard, Zamari Phillips. At forward, at 65 inches, wearing number 1, a senior, Marcus Oakey. And guard, he wears number 11, a 6'3" senior, Orion Washington. The Archers are coached by J.J. Foster, assisted by Bernie Johnson and T.J. Hunter. Our officials for tonight's game are Matt Hines, Mike Johnson, and John Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your pregame information. Let's play on.
And again, we get the baseball style announcement, but we are going to play some ball, going to play some basketball. Concordia versus Southside, and it looks like Alan Termolen, big 6'6" senior forward, going to tip it off against Marcus Oakey, a 6'5" senior forward. He's starting in the place of Zachariah Belcher. Belcher, a fantastic freshman power forward, but Belcher looked like he had a broken foot. He had a boot. I believe he was wearing it on his right foot. He was out on crutches during the pregame shoot-around. J.J. Foster hopes to have him back next week as Joe Tapp gathers the ball to get Concordia the game's opening possession. Looks like Southside's going to go with a little 1-3-1 zone to start things out. Use a lot of zone under J.J. Foster. Washington has the look from downtown, but he missed it, and he's been struggling to get those threes going, but Joe Tapp keeps it alive for Concordia. He barely finds Washington. Washington using those wide receiver skills, but then Tapp has it taken away by Jaden Morris. Zamari Phillips from the corner, no good, and the rebound to Marcus Oki. Southside likely going to need his services down low. Oki is one of two 6'5" guys on the team. The other is Keegan Combs. Jaden Morris wide open, cashes in from downtown. Jaden Morris gets Southside on the board first in this one. And a little full court pressure by the Archers. Speckard will drive, finds Washington. Washington still trying to find his three-point shot. We know he can score in double figures. In past years, he's shown plenty of capability to hit from the outside. David Speckard can also hit from the outside, and he shows you there. David Speckard from downtown. The Archers and Cadets trade threes on the first possessions of the game. Phillips, he's got Speckard on him. Charles Powell with a little backdoor cut. And here's a matchup to watch. A Johnny Washington on Omarion Washington. Morris hits the jumper, and that's a three. Back-to-back threes for Jaden Morris. Joe Tapp closed out defensively that time, but Morris knocked it down right over him. Termolin back to Washington. Shot fake by Speckard. Washington through traffic, slips it off, and Grant Hayworth has the bucket. Up top to Powell. Dish inside. Oki left it short. He got good position but couldn't finish. And here comes Washington. Zips it inside. Termolin missed it. He got his own miss though. Hayworth had it poked away. Omarion Washington with the jam. Transition dunk by Washington. Omarion's on the board for the first time in this one. There's some more pressure from the Archers. That's out of bounds off of Omarion. Archers have the crowd fired up here at Riker Gymnasium. Concordia looking for an answer. Archers have scored on 3 out of 4 possessions so far. Washington able to get control of the ball. And with the zone defense, Southside making it difficult for Concordia to get guys running through the paint. Joe Tapp from the corner. Uses the baseline, trying to go up and under. That was from an awkward angle. But that pass goes long and beyond the reach of Phillips. A 2-1-2 press by Southside. Concordia able to beat the 10-second clock. Speckard splits defenders. Late dish. Termolin got it. Alan Termolin hanging in the air. Concordia's back within one. Termolin, big 6'6" guy. Concordia would love to get him going. Saw a lot of minutes last Saturday against Blackhawk Christian. Of course, Blackhawk has a big 6'4" forward Josh First and a 6'8" guy Kellen Pickett. Those guys had their way with Concordia over at Mark Davidson Court a week ago. And the Braves, by the way, will be back at it tomorrow against Bishop Luers. I'll have that game right here on SummitCitySports.com. That'll be homecoming night for Blackhawk Christian. Inbound to Marcus Oakey. Southside's had a couple of long possessions, and they've usually been able to score off of them. Washington for three. Got it! Off balance three, Omarion. Southside with 3 threes in the game, and that's blocked. Charles Powell. Phil Brockman will dig into his bench as Avery Cook comes in off the bench for Concordia. Southside trying to get their second straight win of the season. They're off to a good start. They've hit 3 threes, 2 of those coming from Jaden Morris. The other one, you just saw it. Omarion Washington knocked it down. But here's Speckard for 3. That's short, out of bounds. Going to stay with Concordia. Zamari Phillips trying to sway the referee's opinion. And in the game now is Kalen Williams-Thomas. He's a sophomore. You might have seen him on the football field this year as well. A number of these guys played football in the fall. Hayworth has the catch on the inbound. Of course, Avery Cook was the hero of the game against Carroll earlier this season. Extra pass. Williams-Thomas buries a 3-ball. Kalen Williams-Thomas, the sophomore off the bench. Comes over with a huge 3 for Concordia. But Washington right back at you. Four threes for Southside already. We get a foul here on the Archers. Jaden Morris, who has 2 of those threes, commits the foul. Southside's used the 1-3-1 zone a number of times in this game. Looked more like a 3-2 to start out this possession. Washington trying to find something. He zips it out to Cook. Now Ajani will try a 3. It's short. Ajani trying hard to find his 3-point stroke. Hasn't been able to the last few games. Charles Powell to the basket and 1. Southside has thrived on long possessions for most of this game. That time, we're able to go a little more quickly as Charles Powell found some space down the baseline, but his free throw doesn't fall. Back to Avery Cook. He had those 3 big free throws against Carroll after being fouled in the final seconds to win the game for Concordia. Concordia's only played at home twice this season. They're 2-1. Check that. They played at home 3 times. They're 2-1 with wins over Carroll and New Haven and a loss to Bishop Luers. Grant Hayworth calling for it down low, and that's taken away. Omarion Washington, the crossover and the deuce. Omarion has got it going on. 10 points for Washington. And now here's a Johnny Washington trying to make something happen. Southside's got their largest lead of the game. They're up 8. Speckard down the baseline. Got it. Much needed bucket for Concordia. But Southside can hold for the final shot, or they could have. Charles Powell wasn't ready for the pass. That's the Concordia student section. I couldn't quite tell what they were saying. But the Southside cheerleaders, a little response. Williams-Thomas able to establish himself before he catches the ball. Washington going to bleed some more clock. Williams-Thomas wants the floater. He's got it. Kalen Williams-Thomas. Back-to-back buckets for Concordia as they try to finish out the first quarter on a high note. Down to 1 second. Late feed, Oki. It was blocked, but he didn't get it off. Southside with a 4-point lead as we come to the end of the first quarter. We'll be back for the second in just a moment on SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Southside leading Concordia 18-14 here at Don Reichert Gymnasium. And it will be Southside who starts the second quarter with the basketball. Southside used a lot of 1-3-1 zone for most of the first quarter, made it difficult for Concordia to get guys open in the paint. However, late in the first quarter, the Cadets were able to get some guys open in the paint. Southside had gone to more of a 3-2 or perhaps a matchup zone. And Concordia was able to find some open spaces down low. Here's Omarion Washington. He's got 10 points. Termolen trying to rip it away. Washington won't let him. Catch and shoot 3 for Powell. It's too strong. Washington's got the board. And Ajani comes back down the floor. He's picked up by Jaden Morris. They find Speckard in the paint. Back out to Williams-Thomas. That's a 2-point jumper, and it's good. And Concordia is within 2. Williams-Thomas making a big impact off the bench. Give him 7 points for the game. Williams-Thomas is a sophomore. We may see his minutes increase as his time at Concordia goes on. Another off-balance 3, and Omarion couldn't hit it. Long pass, Williams-Thomas gathers it. Washington sets and fires. Got it! And Concordia's got the lead at Johnny Washington. And a timeout. Timeout taken by Concordia. And with that, we will take a look at how this last possession played out. Omarion Washington had that great first quarter, 10 points in the quarter. Tried to add to it here, but to no avail. And how about this play here by Kalen Williams-Thomas? Give him a lot of credit. I got Ajani to my left, and he's got space, and Washington uses that space to knock down the 3 ball. And that gives Concordia its first lead of the game after back-to-back games where Concordia saw leads slip away. They're able to come from behind here in the second quarter, but we've got a lot of basketball left to be played, and Southside's game plan early on was very effective. Very effective and very smart as well. The 1-3-1 zone trying to slow down any kind of dribble penetration. And when you're going against a guy like a Johnny Washington, slowing down dribble penetration can work wonders. Keegan Combs in off the bench. He feeds Omarion on the baseline. Combs from the corner. Got it! And the lead right back to Southside. Keegan Combs knocking it down from off the bench. His first possession of the game, and he gets his first points of the game. Over to Williams-Thomas. They get it back to him. Williams-Thomas made a huge impact off the bench. Speckard with 2 defenders on him. Ball's on the deck. Speckard going after it. Keeps it alive and finds Joe Tapp. Tapp into the paint. The finger roll wouldn't curl in. Second chance no good either. Washington collects the rebound for Southside. And he's got it. Swings it out to Phillips. Phillips has been quiet in this game. He's the leading scorer coming into this game for Southside. Morris around the screen. Washington cutting in. Right-handed shot won't go, and Johnny Washington wins the rebound against Joe Tapp. The feed to Williams-Thomas. His three comes up short, and Zamari Phillips has the rebound for Southside. Morris wide open, buries it. Third three of the game for Jaden Morris. Williams-Thomas across the timeline. 5-point lead for Southside. That is a deep, deep three. And Washington banks it in. Washington finds an open bank on a Friday night and makes a deposit. And there's a turnover forced by Concordia. Williams-Thomas, count it, and a foul. Williams-Thomas, no numbers, no trouble. Kalen Williams-Thomas. Look out for this sophomore. Subs coming in off the bench for the Archers. Marcus Oakey and Charles Powell come into the game. Southside got 6 straight points moments ago, and now Concordia was trying to do the same, but they're unable to. I hadn't said yet that they were trying to do that before the shot went up. Marcus Oakey with the screen for Morris. Phillips finds some room down the baseline, and he's fouled. David Speckard going to be tagged with that one. Kalen Williams-Thomas thinking he had a chance to go the other way. Well, fouls really hurt Concordia. Second half of both games against Blackhawk Christian and Lures, as they're trying to snap back-to-back losses. The free throw won't go for Zamari Phillips. Amarion Washington back in the game. .425 to go. Fouls have been at a minimum so far. Just 2 on Southside, 3 on Concordia, as Washington gives the Archers the lead. That's his first point of the second quarter. Give him 11 points, matching his jersey number. Concordia able to beat the press. They got Speckard in the corner. Tapp on the attack. Up and under. Rolls right off. Termolen the board. Couldn't flip it in. Comes down with his own rebound, but he traveled. He took the ball to the deck with him. Southside student section letting Alan Termolen know that he traveled. As Washington goes baseline. Extra pass. Oakey. Got it. Marcus Oakey. Concordia beats the press. They find Avery Cook. Williams-Thomas fires a three. Too strong. Long rebound to Speckard. And Avery Cook able to avoid the turnover. Coming up on 3 minutes to play. Termolen comes out to get it. Cook, kind of your traditional point guard, so to speak, as Joe Tapp lets it fly. That's too strong. Washington back outside. Powell for three. That's too strong. Loose ball, out of bounds. Looked like it was out off Concordia, and it was. Grant Hayworth will come in along with Johnny Washington. And Zamari Phillips will put it in play for Southside. And here's Washington. Just 1 point this half, trying to change all that. He almost did. Johnny Washington across the timeline. He's got 6 points, 2 threes, both here in the second quarter. Hayworth down low. Washington attacks the paint. Left hand, got it. Johnny Washington able to get something out of dribble penetration. Give him 8 points for the game. 1 point game here at Reichert Gymnasium. Good defense by Joe Tapp as he guards Jaden Morris. Powell brings it back out. Williams-Thomas not giving him much space. I tell you, Joe Tapp had a beat on that ball. Phillips brings it back out. Another long possession here for Southside. Oh, Speckard is livid with that call. Well, I thought that he was going to really show some emotion, and he did, but that show of emotion does not last long, and we will play on. That's the 4th team foul on Concordia. Speckard thought he had a steal. Quick inbound here to Javante Bragg. Morris guarded by Tapp. Morris fires a 3. Yes! Jaden Morris, his 4th 3 of the game. Grant Hayworth going to let it fly. He hits a 3. Big fella, Grant Hayworth. Right back at you. That's a catch and shoot for Washington. Off the rim, Williams-Thomas has it. He finds Washington. Washington going to let it fly. Too strong. Washington versus Washington, and Omarion wins the race. Back to a 3-point game. Williams-Thomas on the attack. A little bit short, and here's Washington, finds Morris. His shot too strong. Johnny has it. Johnny slows down. That's a 2 if it goes. It does not. Grant Hayworth the board, had it knocked out. Concordia ball. Well, Omarion Washington, after that last bucket, is up to 13 points in the game as Zamari Phillips has come into the game. Johnny Washington will put it in play for Concordia. He finds Hayworth. Hayworth able to keep a foot down. And it looks like Concordia will play for the final shot of the first half. Try to make it a 1-point game or a tie. You always got to make sure to keep your eye on the ball. 9 seconds. Washington takes it. Zips it. Loses it. Omarion up to Zamari. Phillips brings it out. Time's going to run out. Washington didn't get it off. Southside leads it 32-29 at halftime. We got a good one here at Don Reichert Gymnasium. It's the Archers up by 3. And we are at halftime here at Reichert Gymnasium. While we have a moment, we will go ahead and get a word in from our sponsors that allow us to do these games that we get to do so often here on SummitCitySports.com. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it is game on. We are the region's largest integrated sports medicine team, providing athletes with specialized services from improving their performance to recovering from injuries. To learn more, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. 32-29 in favor of Southside, looking for their second straight win. Concordia trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. We're back after this on SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I like to stay active. I try to come in here at least 3 times a week and just get my 1-hour workout in. Since September, I think I've put on 22 pounds of muscle. I think my vertical has gone up plus 5 inches. I've gotten a lot faster since then too. I can hit the ball further. In football, I can push people around more. It's basketball easier too. Just being stronger just makes everything easier.
Brandon started with Gym Rat's basketball training. After one of the sessions, he came up to me and he wanted to know if he could do more. So Brandon started the EDGE program in November, in addition to the club training he was doing, because it offers personalized programming for his athletic goals. PSN Performance uses a long-term athletic development pyramid. At such a young age, it's really good for Brandon to set the foundation of athletic development. Since he is in season all year round, he has to be ready for all the physical demands. So he does a lot more strength training, just because in basketball he sprints and cuts a lot. In baseball he's doing a lot of sprinting. In football he does a lot of sprinting and jumping. So preparing him to withstand the physical demands of those games, he does a lot more strength training.
I like all the lower body stuff the best. I do goblet squats, split squats, back squat, front squat, a lot of those. Tyler knows what's best for me. He always points me in the right direction. He just pushes me to go harder every day.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
I just want to be the best in basketball, so I want to be the greatest of all time to play women's basketball. So I just know there's people out there working just as much as me, so I just want to keep working hard and keep that intensity going. And so one day I can pursue my dreams of being in the WNBA and playing overseas. So I just want bigger things to come in my life.
I remember when I started in March, she could do 0 pull-ups. She did have a great 25-inch vertical when she first started. She only weighed 150 pounds. One of our main mottos is do the simple things exceedingly well, and that's where we started. So we started the foundation, building her base, and now we've got to basically the peak of our pyramid of things that we can do with her. So we didn't skip any levels, we did all the basics, and she got really, really good at them, and that's what's led her to become as great as she is at basketball and performance.
I've watched her grow, the confidence-wise, the strength-wise, the jumping ability, her footwork. It's really amazing to kind of watch for a girl her size, being 6'3", 6'4", to move like she can move and do the thing and be as agile as she is, along with the strength.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing and science, to the arts, all with a 99% career success rate.
You belong here.
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 I belong here.
The athletes has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
In 4 years, this could be you.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing and science, to the arts.
You belong here!
Our football team haven't won a sectional title in 32 years.
There's no team better than us if we just do our job.
Nobody really want to lose no more.
All you want is greatness. You want me 1, 2, 3?
This is the game that's been on my calendar all year.
We don't need to stay disciplined.
We a whole different Northside team.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
We are at halftime. Southside leading Concordia 32-29. I'll go ahead and give you the first half statistics. For Concordia, their leading scorer so far is Kalen Williams-Thomas. He's got 9 points. Johnny Washington has 8. Grant Hayworth with 5. David Speckard with 5. And Alan Termolin with an extra 2. For Southside, Omarion Washington is their leading scorer. He's got 13 points. Jaden Morris with 12, Keegan Combs with 3, Marcus Oakey and Charles Powell each have 2 apiece. And that's where the stats are at this point. Now, Southside didn't use as much 1-3-1 zone in the second quarter. They used a little bit more 2-3 that time. And they were still able to have some good effective defense against Concordia. Cadets did get some opportunities in close. Some that they were able to cash in on, some that they were not. That's how things went in the first half. Second half comes your way in about 2 minutes. You're watching high school basketball right here on SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Dealing with joint pains, sprains, strains, or back pain? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, Ortho Express has specialized orthopedic physicians on staff when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Ortho Express is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Friday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 260-266-4007 for more.
We are ready to start the second half here at Don Reichert Gymnasium inside Southside High School. Archers leading 32-29 over the Cadets. Cadets will start the second half with the basketball as Johnny Washington looks to put it in to Joe Tapp. Tapp almost wasn't ready for the inbound. Tapp the kick to Termolen. They find Speckard on the baseline. Washington up there at the top of the key, and they'll get it back to him. Charles Powell comes out to guard him for Southside. Tapp with a give to Speckard. Speckard driving through, lost the ball. They're going to say out of bounds off of Southside. That draws some ire from the Southside crowd. J.J. Foster not happy with that call. Officials will discuss it. Southside ball. Meanwhile, we do have an update. Snyder leading over Homestead, 16-15. Snyder won the girls' game already. That went into overtime. It's a big win for first-year head coach Reggie Tharp. Off-balance jumper, Zamari Phillips comes up short. Zamari trying to get it going. He's scoreless so far. Here's Washington. He'll rise up, but he comes up short. Tapp with the rebound. A little long on the floater. And here come the Archers. Phillips loses it. Termolen's got it. Washington, good close out there by Phillips as Tapp fires. Hits a three, we're tied. Joe Tapp from the corner. He's on the board for the first time. Tapp a good three-point shooter. Try to feed it inside, and it's off the hands of Marcus Oakey. Oakey tried a little screen and roll action there. And instead of a bucket on the inside, it's a turnover. Keegan Combs has come in for Southside. Southside with a little 2-2-1 zone press here. A little no-look pass to Termolen. He finds Tapp. Tapp has it knocked away, Southside ball. Like it ricocheted off his foot after the deflection. Omarion feeds it back outside to Combs. Combs comes out to set the screen. Powell lost it, poked into the hands of Washington. Players trip, and Washington jams it. There was a collision at half court, and Washington took the free run. And once again, Washington gives Concordia the lead. Getting a little stingy there, but Omarion able to regain control. And here is Omarion rising up. Was there a foul there? Apparently not. Ball's out of bounds. Concordia ball. There was some question as to whether or not Washington committed a foul. Looked like he made some contact. Although maybe Omarion overdid a little bit when he fell down. Either way, it is Concordia ball. They're up 2. Washington for 3. Yes! Johnny, his third triple of the game. Well, if your last name is Washington, you're probably having a good game. There's a takeaway. David Speckard caught the overthrown pass. Long pass out to Speckard. He'll let it fly. Speckard buries it. It's a three-point palooza here at Reichert Gymnasium. Jaden Morris spinning in, tough shot. Putback won't go, but a foul, and that'll send Marcus Oakey to the free throw line. Oakey trying to get Southside their first points of the second half. It's an 11-0 run by Concordia.
Checking back in for Southside, Javante Bragg.
Oakey able to get Southside off the schneid.
Back in for the Outsiders, number 10, Zamari Phillips.
Zamari Phillips into the game as Oakey has one more free throw coming up. Second one rims out. Termolen the rebound. Three ball short. Termolen the offensive board. From a tough angle. Tip in. A Johnny Washington. Foul is caught. Nope, not a foul. A timeout. A timeout taken by J.J. Foster. And while they take a timeout, we will also take one. First timeout used by the Archers. Back in a moment on SummitCitySports.com.
Southside students will be a good time.
This has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really –
Well, Concordia is on a 13-1 run here in the third quarter. They were down 32-29 at halftime, and we saw Southside come out firing from beyond the arc. We've seen 2 threes from Concordia so far here in the second half, one from a Johnny Washington and one from David Speckard, but what huge threes those were. Grant Hayworth hedges the ball screen. Blocked, but a foul, I think. No, it's just a ball out of bounds. It was Hayworth who blocked it. Southside keeps possession. Remember, Cole Hayworth is not available. For Southside, Zachariah Belcher, the 6'6" freshman forward, is not available. He's got a broken foot, knocked away by Hayworth, but he knocked it out again. Hayworth playing so tough down there on the baseline, but his block and his near steal have resulted in extra possessions for Southside. But Morris couldn't cash in. Washington does. Omarion Washington with a much-needed bucket for the Archers. A Johnny Washington, a little long on the three, and Omarion will let it go. Johnny's hit 3 threes today. And only one made 3 in the last 2 games, both of which were losses for Concordia. And Phil Brockman was trying to point out to Alan Termolen, hey, Zamari's wide open. Kalen Williams-Thomas picks him up. This is Javante Bragg. He gives it off to Jaden Morris. Jaden's got 4 threes. That's a 2 if it goes. It does not. Williams-Thomas slows it down. And Concordia will reset in the half court. Williams-Thomas able to avoid the turnover, and Washington does so too. Tap using the baseline. He's cut off. Taken away, it's Morris. Morris to the basket, blocked. A Johnny Washington. Williams-Thomas slips it. Hayworth in great position. Grant Hayworth got to the right spot, and it was Concordia who called the timeout, I believe. Indeed it was. 44-35. It's a 30-second timeout. Well, that was a great possession by Concordia. Johnny Washington with the recovery on one end, and we'll show that to you on our Traction AP replay. Now, you can talk about a lot of things when analyzing a basketball game. You can talk about system, you can talk about scheme. Now, this was a turnover by Concordia, but a Johnny Washington not getting down about that. He gets back and blocks the shot, and that eventually leads to a great find by Kalen Williams-Thomas to Grant Hayworth, who was in great position. I tell you what, Williams-Thomas, 9 points in the game. I'm also seeing some smart ball movement on his part. This kid's a sophomore, folks. Well, there are some teams that like to use the 2-point guard system, and if Phil Brockman wants to go that route, he very well could with Williams-Thomas and Avery Cook. Avery Cook, a great defensive player. Now, we have not seen him in the game here in the second half. That was nearly a turnover. Washington and Williams-Thomas were in the area of that pass, and now it is a turnover. Closest archers to that ball were all on the bench, unless they were standing up, as J.J. Foster is. 9-point lead for Concordia. They've outscored Southside 15-3 here in the second half. Speckard spinning in. Late pass. Hayworth puts it in. Your wish is granted. Speckard, the big-time scorer, was surrounded by white jerseys, and Grant Hayworth put it in, and Hayworth almost got a steal. Zamari Phillips from downtown. Washington's got the board. Back up with it. It rolls off, but the putback is good. That was a gotta-have-it bucket, and in the end, Omarion does have it. Oh, tap barely across the timeline. That was close to an over and back. Meanwhile, Omarion Washington's got 17 points. This guy averages 13 per game. Johnny on the attack finds Tap. Williams-Thomas gets it back out to Tap, and a long possession for Concordia. Splitting defenders is Speckard. Count it! And a foul! David Speckard. Marcus Oakey called for the foul, and Speckard is up to 10 points. Back to an 11-point Concordia lead with 1:04 to go here in the third quarter. Three-point play for Speckard. His 12-point lead is the largest of the game for Concordia. Rising up as Washington buries the jumper. Southside not going away. Omarion's got 19. Tap has it knocked away, but he was fouled. That's going to send Joe Tap to the free throw line. It is Omarion Washington called for the foul, only his first, and only the first team foul on Southside this half. Fouls have been on short supply. Tap able to bury that first free throw. Two for two goes Joe Tap at the line. 39 seconds left in the third quarter. Southside's been held to 7 points in this quarter. They led by 3 at halftime. Off-balance threes, Amari Phillips can't get it to go. He's still quiet. Oh, Williams-Thomas had Combs coming right behind him trying to take it away. He'll run point here. 17 seconds on the clock. Concordia likely playing for the final shot of the quarter. Over to Joe Tap. Speckard one-on-one against Combs. Missed it. Cook with the rebound. Puts it up short. Termolin. That comes up short. That baseball-style shot will be way short. Concordia with a 12-point lead. They outscore Southside 22-7 in the third quarter. We're back for the fourth in just a moment on SummitCitySports.com.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Well, Concordia with a great third quarter. They take a 12-point lead into the fourth. They outscored Southside 22-7. It was really balanced scoring and good ball movement. You know, you can break down basketball in a lot of different ways, but a lot of times it just comes down to teamwork and good decision making. And we saw a lot of that from Concordia there in the third quarter. It's a big reason why they've got this 12-point lead. Washington has it across the timeline for Southside. Omarion guarded by Ajani. Jaden Morris had 4 threes in the first half. Does not have one here in the second, but Keegan Combs looking for one. Couldn't get it, out of bounds. Speckard touched it last, Southside ball. And Zamari Phillips will put it in play. He finds Combs. Phillips traveled. Was kind of shuffling his feet there as he tried to gather the ball. I talked about this earlier. Both point guards are on the floor for Concordia. And Avery Cook steps inside and drains the jumper. The hero of the Carroll game adds to Concordia's lead. He was starting as a freshman last year, and Cook had the task of guarding several great ball players a year ago, and he's had that task again this year. We're going to get a foul on Concordia here. Looks like they got Alan Termolin. Zamari Phillips will put it in play. Powell is fouled, and I think that's Termolin again. Or was it Washington? Nope, it was Termolin. He didn't have a single foul until those last two. Charles Powell at the free throw line for Southside. A little bit long on that one. Southside hasn't yet scored in the fourth quarter. Powell trying to change all that. I don't know why the student section is waving their hands. Their own guys at the line. Rebound to Cook. Here's Washington. Defenders close in on him. He finds Williams-Thomas. That's Speckard for 3. And Southside's got it. Morris down the floor for the Archers. Zamari Phillips letting it fly. Air ball off of Southside. Off of Keegan Combs. And the Cadets take over, up by 14. This 14-point lead is the largest lead that the Cadets have had. A little fake pass there by Avery Cook. Couple of displays of nice passing on that possession from Cook. Speckard down the baseline. Washington will continue to dribble off some seconds. Avery Cook comes to gather it. There's no shot clock at Indiana high school basketball. Concordia could milk this clock down as long as they want to. As long as they keep possession of the ball. Speckard shot long. Termolin comes up with it. He slips it to Washington. And now Washington will continue to run some time off the clock before he finds Avery Cook. That pass gets away from Termolin. Keegan Combs with the steal. They slip it ahead to Morris. Morris puts it in right over Washington. And that's poked away by Phillips. Morris from the free throw line. He missed it. Washington with the board. The lob, Termolin. Got it. Right back the other end. Concordia adds to their lead. Termolin the bucket. Phillips down the baseline. Rolls off the rim, but he's fouled. Jaden Morris with 14 points in the game. That's Alan Termolin's third personal foul. It'll send Zamari Phillips to the line. Phillips having a quiet night. Leading scorer on the Archers team. Gets his first. Marcus Oki into the game for Southside. Joe Tapp will come in for the Cadets. Both teams will adjust where their personnel is situated. 5:25 to go in regulation. Zamari comes up short on that one. Williams-Thomas able to protect the basketball. Williams-Thomas, the drive. Floater comes up short, and here come the Archers. It's Phillips, one-on-one. Has it blocked. Putback won't go. Washington, the other putback does go. Omarion makes it an 11-point game. Southside's not going away. Foul is called. Washington, that's probably going to be a technical. The officials will come in and clear it up. He shoved Jaden Morris at the back end of it. The officials separate everybody, and there's a technical foul. They did not point at Washington, and I think they're now going to say it's double technicals. We'll get the announcement here soon. Washington threw a shove. Called a personal foul on Jaden Morris before the technicals. Double technicals assessed at the end of the play. I'm going to say offsetting technicals. And there's the announcement. It's a common foul on Jaden Morris, offsetting technicals. Well, we saw the shove by Washington. Foul was only the 15th foul on Southside. It will be Concordia ball. Not sure who the technical was on Southside, though. But again, they get the personal foul on Jaden Morris. With the offsetting technicals, that's why Concordia has the ball. Avery Cook backs it up. Williams-Thomas gathers his dribble again. That's traveling. It's going the other way. Williams-Thomas has had such smart play throughout this game, but that time turns it over, and now Southside can get this to a single-digit game. Morris directs traffic. Southside with a chance to get back into this thing. They were down 14 earlier this quarter. Washington rising up. No good. Batted around. Oki comes up with it, and he's fouled. That's the the sixth team foul on Concordia. Making Avery Cook wait before he checks back in. They've changed the scoreboard. It shows 57-44. Not sure why. We'll keep an eye on that. Concordia did not score on their last possession. Powell able to find Phillips, and now they've changed it back. 55-44, that is the score. And Southside can make this a single-digit game with any bucket except a free throw. Powell on the drive, contact, no foul. Oki, offensive board, puts it in. Marcus Oki, starting in the place of Zachariah Belcher, comes through for the Archers. Joe Tapp on the drive, lays it in with the left. A quick answer by Concordia. 3.5 to go. Washington for three, it's short. Cook runs down the board. Speckard with Morris on him, somehow gets around him. Williams-Thomas going to take more time off the clock, and I think that was what Phil Brockman told him to do, and he's talking to Ajani Washington right now. Williams-Thomas draws the foul. I think that was the entire Concordia bench that stood up out of their seats. They wanted to see that ball go in, but instead, Kalen Williams-Thomas at the line for 2 free throws. It's a 15 foul on the Archers. Washington getting some coaching from Phil Brockman there after that technical foul. Looks like he's going to go back in shortly. Williams-Thomas able to cash in on that first free throw. 2 for 2. Williams-Thomas with 11, and Washington will take his place. 13-point lead for Concordia, looking to snap a 2-game winning streak. 2-game losing streak, rather. Southside is trying to establish a 2-game winning streak. Washington leaning in is fouled. Speckard was in the area, so was Avery Cook. And it's on Avery Cook. Amarion Washington, who scored 21 points in this game, will go to the line. Southside girls had a 20-plus point scorer, Justice Billingsley. She had 22 points in the girls' game moments ago as Amarion drains the free throw. Give him 22 points for this game. 2:47 to play, and Washington 1 for 2. Offensive board, Charles Powell fouled on the inside. Washington and Hayworth were in the area. Washington lifted him up off the floor. It is a Johnny Washington. His first personal as Charles Powell goes to the line. 2:44 showing on the clock. And Powell is able to make it a 2 free throw trip. Gets it back to a 10-point game. Cook, the sidestep, beats the 10-second clock. Was the ball tipped? No, it was not. Southside ball. And the door is open for Southside to make a comeback. We got 2:36 on the clock. Not easy to come back from down 10 points for this amount of time, but it can be done. Jaden Morris swings it over to Phillips. Low-scoring night for Zamari. Leading scorer on this team coming into the game has been held to just 1 point tonight. Powell turns it over. That pass looked like it was meant for Phillips. And Powell thought it was meant for him. And eventually the Archers turn it over. Speckard looking to find some space. He finds Avery Cook. Washington on the attack. Leans in, off the rim. And Omarion has the board for Southside. Omarion down the floor, too strong. Easy rebound for David Speckard. Washington able to regain control. Cook finds him. Washington to the paint. Blocked, contested, out of bounds off of Hayworth. Marcus Oki got a hand on the ball. Kalen Williams-Thomas back in the game for Concordia. And Southside with the ball, down 10 with 1:22 to go. It's extremely difficult to come back from 10 points in this amount of time, but it can be done. Concordia almost pulled off a monster comeback in their game against Lures last Friday night. That's going to be a foul as Grant Hayworth goes over the top. It was before the shot. And I believe that's the 10th team foul on Concordia. Check that, it's the 9th. Oki will shoot 1 and 1. 1:10 to go. A couple of big free throws coming up here for the Archers. As Oki missed the front end, but an offensive board, it's Powell, he puts it in. Southside's not out of it yet. A timeout has been taken by J.J. Foster. Archers have 3 left, 1:05 to go. While they take a timeout, we'll take a break as well on SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Concordia leading by 8 over Southside. Charles Powell with the bucket moments ago to get it to an 8-point game. Concordia's led by as many as 14. We've still got 1:05 to play. Inbound to Washington. Finds Speckard. They beat the 10-second clock, and Termolin will slow it down. He had a wide open run down the paint, but Concordia is going to try to eat away at the clock. Loose ball. Up to Morris against Termolin. Poked away. Morris got it back. Washington for 3. Short. Tipped up and in. Marcus Oki. Marcus Oki has made it a 6-point game. David Speckard called for the foul. And Southside on the comeback trail. 42.4 seconds left. Oki's free throw wouldn't fall. Williams-Thomas down the floor, finds Washington. He's going for the bucket. He didn't get it. It's a 2-score game. Washington for 3, short. Johnny Washington's got it, and he's fouled. That's the 6th-team foul on the Archers. That 3 by Omarion, had it gone down, would have made this a 1-score game. Washington went for the bucket, wanted to try and put some pressure on Southside, and he missed. Termolin. Cadets have to beat the 10-second clock. Washington, got to be careful. Powell, he fouls him. Charles Powell with the foul. And that's going to send a Johnny Washington to the free throw line for 1 and 1. 18.7 seconds left. Doors still open for Southside to come back. Crucial free throws coming up here for Washington. He's averaging 13 points per game coming into this one. First one's good. Give him 14 after that make. 18.7 to play. 2 for 2 goes Ajani. Omarion Washington down the paint. All right off the rim. Termolin boards it. Gets it across the timeline, and it's poked away. Zamari Phillips. Three ball is blocked by Termolin with 3 seconds to go. And I think we can now officially say that this game is decided. 8-point lead for Concordia. Washington is going to get a shot off. It's short. Putback is good. It's going to count, but Concordia is going to win it. Concordia able to snap their 2-game losing streak. It came down to the wire. Concordia had a 14-point lead, and it was the third quarter where the Cadets really started to run away with it. In the third quarter, Concordia outscored Southside 22-7, and you can talk about schemes, you can talk about player placement and alignment and shot selection. The biggest thing that stood out to me about Concordia was great decision-making in that third quarter. That's what led to a lot of the open looks that they had, and with those good looks, they were able to knock down shots and eventually take a 12-point lead to the end of the third quarter, go up by 14 in the second. Southside, great effort to try and come back, but it was too little, too late. Concordia wins it 61-55. Well, for our Parkview Sports Medicine Player of the Game, we are going to award that honor to Kalen Williams-Thomas. He scores 11 points in the game, but it wasn't just his points, it was his decision-making. Williams-Thomas shared the basketball, found open shooters, and it helped his team that way in addition to the scoring. So Williams-Thomas, your Parkview Sports Medicine Player of the Game. That's your final, 61-55. Concordia wins it. It's a girls and boys sweep for the Cadets. 61-55 here in the boys' game for Concordia. And that will do it from here at Don Reichert Gymnasium. For my cameraman, Cordell Humbarger, this is Thad Goff saying so long from Southside. You've been watching high school basketball on SummitCitySports.com, and again, your final, 61-55 in favor of the Cadets.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I like to stay active. I try to come in here at least 3 times a week and just get my 1-hour workout in. Since September, I think I've put on 22 pounds of muscle. I think my vertical has gone up plus 5 inches. I've gotten a lot faster since then too. I can hit the ball further. In football, I can push people around more. It's basketball easier too. Just being stronger just makes everything easier.
Brandon started with Jim Rat's basketball training. After one of the sessions, he came up to me and he wanted to know if he could do more. So Brandon started the Edge program in November, in addition to the club training he was doing, because it offers personalized programming for his athletic goals. PSN Performance uses a long-term athletic development pyramid. At such a young age, it's really good for Brandon to set the foundation of athletic development. Since he is in season all year round, he has to be ready for all the physical demands. So he does a lot more strength training, just because in basketball he sprints and cuts a lot. In baseball he's doing a lot of sprinting. In football he does a lot of sprinting and jumping. So preparing him to withstand the physical demands of those games, he does a lot more strength training.
I like all the lower body stuff the best. I do goblet squats, split squats, back squat, front squat, a lot of those. Tyler knows what's best for me. He always points me in the right direction. He just pushes me to go harder every day.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
I just want to be the best in basketball. So I want to be the greatest of all time to play women's basketball. So I just know there's people out there working just as much as me. So I just want to keep working hard and keep that intensity going. And so one day I can pursue my dreams of being in the WNBA and playing overseas. So I just want bigger things to come in my life.
I remember when I started in March, she could do 0 pull-ups. She did have a great 25-inch vertical when she first started. She only weighed 150 pounds. One of our main mottos is do the simple things exceedingly well, and that's where we started. So we started the foundation, building her base, and now we've got to basically the peak of our pyramid of things that we can do with her. So we didn't skip any levels. We did all the basics, and she got really, really good at them, and that's what's led her to become as great as she is at basketball and performance.
I've watched her grow, the confidence-wise, the strength-wise, the jumping ability, her footwork. It's really amazing to kind of watch for a girl her size, being 6'3", 6'4", to move like she can move and do the thing and be as agile as she is, along with the strength.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing and science, to the arts, all with a 99% career success rate.
You belong here. Here.
Here.
I belong here.
The athletes has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And I mean, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And I mean, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
In 4 years, this could be you.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing and science, to the arts.
You belong here.
Our football team haven't won a sectional title in 32 years.
There's no team better than us if we just do our job.
Nobody really want to lose no more.
All you want is greatness. You want me 1, 2, 3?
This is the game that's been on my calendar all year.
We gonna need you. Staying disciplined.
We a whole different Northside team.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud